let's get into the best bets. As is ritual here, winners get to go first. Suma, maybe an undeserving cash on the Steelers, -3 last week. But you know what? No one remembers if it was deserving or undeserving. They just remember if the account balance went up or it went down. And the account balance went up for you last week. So we got to keep it going this week. You're going to Lambeau Field. It's the Chargers. It's the Packers. Who do you like in the game and why?
Yes, I'm going back to fading the Packers again. I like this matchup for the Chargers. The Packers looked much better on offense last week against a Steelers defense that, for whatever reason, played some coverages on late downs that really played into the strength of Jordan Love. But even with a one game going and with Jordan Love having much more success in the passing game, it was again the same old Packers offense that really struggled to get to 20 points with some costly Jordan Love interceptions, and I just cannot trust this offense to even put a beat down on the Brandon Staley defense. Yes, Staley's defense has been very underwhelming again, but they got shredded by a lot of good quarterbacks and good passing games this season. Looked much better against bad quarterbacks. John Love is probably one step above the guys like Aiden O'Connell and Tyson Bagent and Zach Wilson, but not sure by how much exactly. And on the other side, the Green Bay defense is really, really bad, and they have played the third easiest schedule of opposing offenses per my numbers. They cannot stop the run. They really played only two quarterbacks with a pulse this season. It was Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions offense got shredded, and then they got shredded by Kirk Cousins, who tore his Achilles, I think, late in the third quarter or early in the fourth quarter, where I think the Vikings already had 24 points. And this Packers defense held a lot of bad quarterbacks to like sub 20 points, but I just don't see how they are able to contain the Chargers offense. It's a hashtag situation Zuma, great bounce back game for the Chargers offense on the road here, even on the road. I think that they are going to look very well offensively against this Packers offense, and I just don't see how John Love is able to outduel Justin Herbert in this matchup.
Situational Suma is back. Justin Herbert laying the 3 against Jordan Love. That's Suma's best bet for the week. Eric, we will move to you next here. You are targeting a primetime matchup. Always fun to have money on primetime.
Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos, kind of almost weirdly at the top of their market, but you're also fading the Vikings at seemingly the top of their markets. Look, the Vikings have been a phenomenal story. I think Kevin O'Connell has been very good at a lot of things, especially, in-game decision-making with, field goals and going for touchdowns instead of those and penalties. They're second in the NFL in terms of penalty differential with respect to EPA. All that being said, though, still a question about Justin Jefferson this week. Probably not going to go. The Denver defense has been pretty damn good since the horrible situation against the Dolphins. And Russell Wilson quietly has had a pretty good season, top 5 in a lot of metrics as far as quarterback play is concerned. You've seen some stuff out of Javonte Williams as well. And even though the Vikings have been better against the run relative to early in the season, they are going to be without Jordan Hicks, a middle linebacker who has mattered to them. Ivan Pace, the guy that plays behind him, is like 5'10" and an undrafted player out of Cincinnati. They had to bring Anthony Barr back from the couch to come play linebacker. And I think Denver, if you combine the vertical passing game with the power running game, I think that they match up well with the Vikings defense. And so you add that to regression out of Josh Dobbs. I like this thing out to 3.
All right. Eric's going with that. Hitman, we already talked about this game earlier, but make the case one more time for those who missed it. Chiefs and Eagles Monday Night Football.
I like Kansas City -2.5. I think that I said earlier, the Dallas Goddard, it's an underrated loss. Jalen Hurts, maybe not at 100% Mobility is an important factor. The Chiefs defense, 5th in EPA per play, 4th in success rate allowed. So I do think it sets up, at least for a game that doesn't end up like last year's Super Bowl where Jalen Hurts just goes absolutely wild on this defense. But my bigger concern with Philly is their defense, especially their pass defense. They've allowed big games to Kirk Cousins, to Dak, to Sam Howell twice. They really rely on dominating up front, but Kansas City has widely regarded a top 5 offensive line that can counter that. The Eagles' defense overall is 21st in EPA per play. For all the talk that we've had about the Kansas City offense, about their struggles, it's still a unit that's 7th in EPA per play, quarterbacked by the best player in the game and has the best play caller in the game. The Eagles tend to struggle against short passing, which is a strength of this Kansas City offense. Basically, the difference between 3 and 2.5 is the difference between a 50% bet and a 55-ish% bet. And I have Kansas City as a point better on a neutral. They're the rare team that their home field advantage can still be worth up to 2.5. And I'll spare everybody the Andy Reid off a bye and the Chiefs under Mahomes under a field goal stuff. But I make this game 3. So value on Kansas City.
So this week could be very different because you made the Chiefs a lean before you made them a best bet. We don't know how that's going to play out, but maybe with the lean record, it might offset the best bet. And we did have a poll going on over the course of the show, and 52% of the people, Hitman, think you're going to win your best bet this week. So
I just need a few more decimal points to be able to beat the VIG, as Suma said in our private chat.
Yeah, not quite 52.4%, but 52%. Hey, if you're betting low VIG at Pinnacle, you already beat the VIG, by the way, right there with the 52%. So there you go. I've had to pivot hard over the course of this show. I put in my caption, my best bet today will make you ill. It was going to make you ill. It got steamed about 15 cents during the show. I don't want to give out stale prices. I'm pivoting to my next available biggest edge right now. And I'm going with the Cleveland Browns. DTR starting in this game. Browns money line -112, good to -123. I've been looking for the opportunity to fade the Steelers. I think this is finally the spot. Listen, we could talk about the Tomlin voodoo, all that. All we want to do, at the end of the day, this team just isn't very good. You do not get outgained for 9 consecutive games by accident. Their yards per play metrics stink. Their success rate metrics stink. Their EPA metrics stink. They are winning with turnovers, a lot of smoke and mirrors. And to me, that's just not consistently repeatable. DTR looked horrible in his first start. That was the Baltimore Ravens defense, much better than this Steelers defense, who, by the way, a couple weeks ago, Will Levis looked very solid against them on Thursday Night Football. All of a sudden, Will Levis plays the Bucs and he can't do anything. Last week, Jordan Love looks as competent as he's looked in months against the Steelers defense, missing Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think the defense is overrated. DTR, full week to prep. He's not getting thrust in against the Ravens on short notice here. And I love this Browns defense against this Steelers offense. We saw it earlier in the year. They wreaked havoc on the Steelers. They lost that game in like one of the weirdest fashions ever, where the Steelers did not gain positive yards in the fourth quarter. Negative yardage in the fourth quarter, still came from behind to win. I like the Cleveland Browns in this game, -112. Get it done for me, DTR. Get it done.